started here. And I just want to welcome everybody in. Welcome to the Lion's Den. Every single week we do this. We come together as lions, as the men that we are and the kings that we deserve to be, to really break down some fundamentals. You know, I just shared a little bit about just the drive to Miami, being in Miami, and we're here for an incredible event. And this weekend, this event is a little bit different because it's starting to understand the fundamentals of even going to events. Like, I've gone to a lot of events in my life. You know, we just ended up being Aspire actually just a couple of days ago, this Monday. Monday was Aspire. We went out to Nashville, and I'll say a little bit about that quick story because it was extremely powerful to be invited to a coach and mentor of mine, Tim Story. You know, we did a celebration surprise birthday party for him. So a bunch of us, you know, met at Coach Bird down in Nashville. We went out to Nashville, Tennessee. It was incredible. Spent the weekend out there and was able to, you know, do this incredible surprise birthday party for a very powerful spiritual leader like Tim Story. And the next day, you know, we were able to get platinum tickets and go to the Aspire conference and see some incredible speakers. And something that Tim said was really powerful that I want to share with you guys, you know, when he was on stage, you know, especially. And he said, the time is now. Like, your time is now. Now, this was really powerful because everyone is in the measure of their own lane in their own life. But when we can start to understand that time is now, it's a perspective of how you actually believe and think about that statement. When you know and you can wholeheartedly believe the time is now for me, that's an interesting play. We're going to talk about that, especially with some of the things that happened, like the political election. But before I do that, I want to just talk a little bit about Miami, because Miami is quite interesting. This week, we literally just got here about 30 minutes ago, right? So we just got here 30 minutes ago. We came here, we checked in, we did have all this shebang, and it was like, boom, time to start the call. But why did I come to Miami? Because it's coming to events, but going to the right events. Now, even going to Aspire was awesome because I got to see some good speakers on stage. But these events aren't really doing justice anymore. Because getting 500 to 1,000 people in a room to get them all rah, 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 and then getting all excited to go home isn't really the right momentum. It's showing up every week like this on the Lions Den. It's showing the consistency of putting in that action. And what I really realized very specifically to the event that we're going to tomorrow is proven results. When you are learning from somebody, whether it's an event, whether it's taking notes, whether it's even reading a book, you got to get proven results. Now, Brian is one of my good buddies, and he also is the owner of ESA, Event Sales Agency. And I'm talking, these guys in the last just 3 years have done they've sold out 93 events. They've sold 36,000 tickets, and they've done over $50 million in ticket sales for selling events. Now, these guys are experts in their domain. They know exactly what it means to host an event, be profitable from an event, and be able to sell out an event. So we're going there for 3 days, not only because of the incredible energy that we're going to be bringing in 2025 for you guys and the community of that has been built over the last 3 years of me moving into the US. But outside of that, it's truly the ability now to understand the game that we're going to talk about today. How do you get to $50 million in sales? How do you get to 36,000 tickets sold? Now, yes, we can call it sales, but we can call it a little bit deeper. And I want to break that down today. Before I do that, let's talk a little bit about something that happened this week before we get to the education, the fundamentals, the value. Damn, this election was fucking crazy, wasn't it? Holy shit. You Americans, man, I tell you, I understood that Hollywood was created in America. Like, I get it. But I had no idea that we could take Hollywood, we could take the leaders of this country, put that in one and be like, okay, we're going to do now a 10-month campaign on this, and we're going to see how this unfolds. But little behold, America spoke. America spoke, and I'd say the government responded. Seeing the election and starting to understand that Trump now has become the 47th president is a game changer. It's a game changer. Now, there's a couple things that I want to just decode with this and just give. Like, I'm not here to be like opinions or not, but guess what? There was Donald Trump versus, I can't even remember her name. So the point is that we have the right president now. We have the right president in the right place. But what does this mean to us? That's the key thing. It's awesome that we talk about this. Everyone's going crazy, social media, blah, 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 blah. We're talking about this. But what does this mean specifically to us? Now, of course, with Trump, we know the economy, yes, it's going to be better. We're already starting to see just like the markets move. And I'm going to talk about the markets today. I want to decode a couple of massive things from a psychological level that are going to help us. So the economy, yes, absolutely is going to be incredible. We see that because of the way the momentum is going to be carried as the country being run as a business. But the geopolitical side is more favorable. See, when we're in the Lions Den, we're talking about being connectors. We're talking about being connection through conversation. You can already start to see geopolitical scale of now other leaders in the world that are starting to go, oh, this is interesting. We got to take this a lot more serious now. We can't just play around with the US anymore. So we understand that. But outside of that, outside of the economy, outside of the market, and I'll say the markets are already shifting, right? You're already seeing now specifically the dollar that's going to rise, and BTC now also, Bitcoin also hit its highest. So this is just baby steps right now, baby steps that's about to unfold in the next 4 years. Now, I brought this down to a couple of different points that I want to bring up. The drama that this is going to cause is the first thing. I talked about this on my Instagram the other day. The drama that this election is now going to cause, the fact that Trump is now in power, is going to be hilarious because of two factors. First, celebrities. These celebrities that backed up Kamala Harris are going to be outed. This whole Diddy shit, oh, get ready, Kobe, man. I'm telling you, get ready for this Diddy shit to be exposed on a whole different level now. And this is going to be interesting because a lot of celebrities are going to be outed for shit that you would be mind boggled about thinking. So that's going to be one interesting play in the next 10 to 14 months. The next play is going to be the big companies. The big companies like the Vanguards and the BlackRocks that had the plan to own 70% of homes by 2030. The ones that are taking corporations, LLCs across the whole nation and slowly picking up houses and being able to segregate that to all ownership by them to be in control. Now, this is going to pause now, but there's more opportunity now for this side to be able to go in. Again, I'm going to talk about opportunity tonight. But the main point that I want to say is that once and for all, this just proves that leaders, gentlemen, are what's needed more than ever, because the leaders, the ones that step up to leadership, are the ones that are going to be able to be phased in, while the corrupt ones now are slowly phased out. So this is going to be a game changer. Trump knows himself, he only has 4 years. The execution and how fast these guys are going to move, you're already starting to see it. By the new year, we're going to start to see some massive changes. And I want us to really understand that when it comes to this outing of celebrities, outing of this stuff, here's a chance and opportunity to be the best communicator. We listened to Dr. Ray last week. Dr. Ray spoke a lot about the communication, but also the health and the mental performance of leaders. The leadership now is what's needed the most of. So this is a massive opportunity for us to be stepping into these positions, taking our companies to that level and letting that economy, that trillions of dollars worth of wealth transfer that's happening, coming into our pockets here and giving the strategies and the tools to do so. The second thing I want to talk about is, yes, money is moving. Money is moving. Going back to the trillions, money is moving. How big is your fucking basket, gentlemen? Because I'll tell you right now, money is going to be pouring from the sky. How big is your basket, and how are you standing in the right positions to collect as much as you possibly can? That's what I want you guys thinking about right now. I want you to be thinking that if it was raining money right now, how would I get the resources to get the biggest bucket, the most efficient bucket, and know where to stand so the money can be falling in mine? Because it's going to fall regardless. You can either catch it. You can buy Bitcoin at 100. You can buy it at 35,000. You can buy it at 75,000. There's going to be a point that you catch it. It's just a matter of now, again, how large is your bucket? Where are you standing? And when we look at creative deals, just last night I was on a call. John Downing, I don't know if he's on the call right now. John introduced me to some incredible investors. Now, these guys are doing very creative financing. They're raising 1.3 million for an oil refinery in Nebraska that they're putting together. It's an incredible deal. But the point of the deal is not the actual refinery. And the numbers are incredible. I looked at the numbers. The numbers are very, very powerful. But what it comes down to is also the way that they're positioning the capital, how they're using bond funding. And they're allowing the government and insurance companies to actually pay the down payments to then leverage with the banks to be able to close these transactions. And it was very, very interesting. Very interesting. I've never heard of bond funding done in that way. And the way and the calculations of the 12 to 14-month exit strategies and the actual returns that they're getting. It's incredible. But the point of sharing that with you is starting to understand that financing, raising capital is a skill set. That's all it is. It's just a skill set. We can call it communication and articulation and all this, but it's a skill set to raise capital. It's a skill set to be able to know that you have a project at hand and that there's people out there that have millions, billions of dollars. And if you're able to now connect, articulate, and bring something together, you have the ability to get paid a lot of money. So inside the Lions, then we always speak about connection through conversation. I remember Axel talking about all the famous celebrities he's dealt with when it comes to, being a sommelier. Like that is, it's how do I leverage that now? How do I know that one person is my contact? How do I get them connected using a tangible platform, a platform that we're going to be bringing you guys in 2025? That's going to be a crazy one. That's the investment capital. Now I'm going to open up this market as Grant Cardone did to a public market. We're going to do that, but we're going to do it in strategic steps. So stay tuned to that. But my point there on that was raising capital. Now, Kobe, you know a lot about that because you got to raise capital to get capital. You got to raise capital in order to maneuver capital. So when we start to look at capital, I want us to start to understand that it's crucial that communication is, yes, number one, but is more crucial, especially in this time that I just talked about trillions of dollars worth of wealth transfer, is to have an offer, to have a pitch, to have a product that can sustain the growth. Like I'm telling you, gentlemen, right now, if you're not clearing $10,000 a month, you're going to be phased out. You're going to be phased out. Simple point. You cannot survive with at least a minimum of 10K coming in so that you can pay off the bills. You can live decent above your means, not below your means, not saving, not living below. It's called, I want to live a good life because that's going to motivate me to wake up every single day and keep pushing forward. But then also to have a cushion on the side, to have a couple of $1,000s that you could be putting in. I'm setting up a policy now that I have my SSN here, and I'm going to give you guys a huge takeaway. IULs, I bring them up all the time. An IUL. Man, you start getting into IULs and ICUs. The ICU is incredible. You're telling me that I'm going to now leverage, I'm going to put 50K into something, and then the insurance company is going to lend me money on that 50K, and I can take that money that they're lending me and I can put it back in. And then it's going to grow interest-free and with compound interest. Huh? So all I got to do is contribute $25,000 every single year, and I have $100,000 worth of contributions that are going into my account, and I'm getting that tax. Like, wow. Strategies, gentlemen, strategies. Playing the financial game and the strategies is where this world needs to be, and that's why I want to really specifically talk today about what's going to drive you to do that. Because as much financial knowledge, a couple of weeks ago, we talked about financial knowledge. Right? Last week, we broke down health and mental health, but I want to now take it even deep further and actually look at what is peak mental performance to get you there. Gentlemen, what does it take in the mindset to have peak mental performance so that it's irrelevant about the markets, it's irrelevant about the government, it's irrelevant about the external macro factors, and you start to focus on micro, on right here, right now, who you are, what capacity you're in, and how you are growing. That's what we're going to break down today. And when I say how we think, speak, and connect, those three words are quite famous in my vocabulary now, because putting that together is the true definition of uncaging your roar. Gentlemen, lions on the call, uncaging your roar means to master the way you can think, speak, and connect. Thinking is your step one. Speaking is your step two. And connecting is your step three. Master these three things, and it allows you to not only just raise capital and start doing $1 million deals, but it allows you to start getting into the right rooms, to be invited to the right events that get you in the right circles that can completely change the trajectory of your life. Just one handshake. So when we break this down, guys, I want to say to you, just quick little preset into 2025. A couple guys like Caesar, I can see Caesar on the call. I can see obviously JC was there and a couple of you guys that weren't able to make that event, but we're going to be doing different types of events, and our program that we are releasing on mental performance, and I'm giving you guys a sneak peek today. That's what I wanted to do today, is give you guys a bit of a sneak peek on what's going to be happening in 2025. When it comes to peak mental performance, this is helping and allowing business leaders and gentlemen like yourselves to understand and unlock the combination code up here. My studies over the last 10 years, I'm just going to share a story quick. 9 years ago, it was about 9 years ago, because it would have been 9 years ago, I was sponsoring an event, and it was a politician that was in my city up in Canada, and he was just a section in the city. It was a ward leader. So he's not the mayor of the city, but he's a ward leader. So I sponsored one of his events. I knew him at the bars and stuff like that. I go out there, and I'm sitting, and I like analyzing. I'm a psychology kind of guy. I look across the room and I see this gentleman, and I can watch him analyzing everyone. So, which is interesting, because I'm like, who is this guy? And I walked up and I started talking to him. He starts telling me everything that I was doing. So he was analyzing me, analyzing him, analyzing the room. A lot of analyzing going on. What's the point of the story? It was a political event. I met a guy, shook a hand, cool. I invested in this thing called weekend seminar, a weekend workshop. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, it's an NLP workshop. I'm a certified trainer. I've been doing it for 25 years and I want you to come join me. Okay. So I went to the workshop, paid like $2,500, show up to the workshop, started learning some stuff, very interesting stuff that I'm going to decode and actually share with you guys today so you guys can understand what NLP really is. This got me to understand that I was wanted to be coached by this man. This man got me to understand NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. Neuro being the brain, linguistic, what you say, and programming, how you actually program it. Some of these skills of understanding mental peak performance have originated of trialing and testing for the last 9 years on how these strategies have allowed me to literally close $1 million deals. Whether it's been, I always share the story, $1 million and over a couple of beers with a gentleman, but there was another one where we had to raise $350,000 within a week in order to close on us. We had to bring $700,000 to the table in order to close a $2.3 million commercial retail strip mall in Whitehorn. I still remember the address, 44 Avenue. And in that 1 week of calling credit card companies, raising credit limits, getting my parents to max out stuff, I had to raise the $350,000. Like, we had to figure it out. Yeah, I had to. When you're in a situation where you got to figure it out, you got to figure it out. You got to beg, borrow, steal if you got to point to a point. You got to be understanding that, listen, I got to get this money. I'm willing to die to make sure that this deal happens. That deal ended up closing for 2.3, ended up selling for 3.1 8 months later until I made thought I was too cocky. And I've shared this with a couple of you guys. And I didn't close the paperwork on Friday night, $3.1 million cash offer ready to go. I was like, no, it's good. I'll close it on Monday. Went and partied with my friends. He comes back on Monday morning. He's like, why didn't you sign the paper? I'm like, I just got a little busy. He's like, oh, you got busy? Perfect. I'm going to change it to 2.95. I sign on the spot. Think about that. Over $150,000 gone in the split second of me wanting to party on a Friday night because I thought I closed the deal versus actually closing it on Monday. So again, remember, gentlemen, you can be closing $1 million deals, but mental performance, emotional control, emotional resilience up here is more important, because if you give a man $90 million today, I'll tell you right now, 95% of lottery winners end up more broke afterwards. There's a reason for that. So we're going to break some stuff down for you guys. And of course, like being able to connect with some of the most powerful leaders this weekend, man. I was with Brad, saying what's up to Bradley. We're there with Tim Story. We're seeing speakers. It's getting in the right rooms and actually showing your authenticity. It's being able to grow groups like this, like the Lions. Like, why you guys show up every single week? Like, why are you doing this? You're showing up because, yes, you're learning things, but you're a part of a culture now. You're a part of a community. It's giving you that pump up. It's giving you that consistency. It's giving you that accountability. And that's what we do here. That's why we want to break this down. And that's why I do this every single week, gentlemen. I do this because those 3 words that we always bring back: brotherhood, blessings, and breakthroughs. Brotherhood is the bond between men. The only time you look down at a man is when you're picking him back up. The blessings from above, being grateful and being able to pray to the almighty architect of our life. And of course, the breakthroughs. It may be something I say tonight, maybe something another Lion says, but use this platform as an opportunity to speak up, to ask questions, to get yourself on your own stage so that you can practice your language, practice your communication skills, and get out there, enhance yourself, and go do more deals, make more money, especially in the next 4 years, gentlemen. It's going to be big. So I want to do a quick little check-in with the Lions, and then I want to get to a little bit of content, and then we're going to open it up at the end. I really, really like it, and I really appreciate it when you guys jump in and you guys talk and get feedback from one another. And it's a pretty smaller, intimate group today. And I see John Downing's on the call. Yeah, John, I was talking to them about our powerful call yesterday, man. And by the way, that deal, it wasn't even the $1.3 million deal that we were even talking about. We started opening up, like I told you, the funding behind it, and using bond funding opened up so many doors. Now it's like, now me and John are like, okay, how many deals can we go find now? You know what I mean? We were talking on the phone last night. I was like, how many, we got to go find deals now. Let's go find some 50 unit, 100 unit, 200 unit. Let's go find, 50, $60 million deals and start now figuring out how to piece these all together with an actual partner like that. But I want to just check in. I see Keyshawn in the house. I see Lou in the house. Caesar's in the house. My guy, good to see you, brother. King Kobe, man. Always flexing, man. This guy, you look like you're coming out of a movie or something, man. Like all suited and booted like that. Crushing the day, my man. Axel's hard at work. Love it that you're still on here, bro, and showing up, man. That's a commitment right there. We got Dan in the house. As I mentioned, John Downing, Mr. Brown. Gentlemen, appreciate y'all joining today. We're going to get to some Q&A in a bit, but today Today, a lot of topic was around time management this week. We've been asking some certain questions. We're poking around, we're piquing interest. It's really good and valuable for you guys to give feedback because I want to make sure that we're tailoring it to certain needs and certain people that want to show up every single week. So I appreciate all you guys chiming in, showing up, and being able to provide that back. And around time management, what's interesting is time management can only be as powerful as, again, the mental peak performance that you have. See, I say it every single week is that you don't need to be listening to me. You don't need to be even listening to the fucking thousands of pieces of content that are online and all the YouTube that can teach you all the rules of success. You can learn from the people that have already achieved success. The rules are there. First is about, of course, making the decision that you're playing a game. And then, of course, going and finding those rules and then playing it. But what happens is that just time management isn't the solution. I can tell you to do your calendar and give you the tactic, but are you going to go do it? I said that a couple of weeks ago. I was like, show me your guys' calendar. How packed is your calendar? Do you have any white space on your calendar? That's the question you have to ask yourself. That's the actual tangible strategy around time management. I have people come up to me, Jay, tell me the secret. How do you wake up 4 a.m? How do you do this? I'm like, just fucking do your calendar and stay consistent. I'm going to give you guys that tactic. It's just that. But what's outside of that? What's actually going to drive you in the morning to wake up? It's that mental performance. It's the mental performance. It's the ability to wake up. It's not knowing that you have to wake up. Duh. Fucking wake up. Get out of your ass, go fucking train yourself, eat a good meal, and start your day like any other real man would do. Very, very simple. Why do we overcomplicate it? Why do we say, oh, I don't want to do the cold shower today. I don't want to work out. It's going to be too painful. I'm sore. I'm not feeling good. I'm hungover. That's one thing I don't fucking miss. I'll tell you that right now is being hungover, gentlemen. Ooh, walking away from alcohol was a big, big decision. It's been very, very fundamentally incredible. But just think about that. When we're at mental peak performance, let's break that down. Peak mental performance. Peak. What is peak? The highest level. The highest level we can be means peak. Mental. Mental means thought, choice, action. Thought, choice, action. Thought, choice, action. Because in that sequence, thought, choice, action. Very simple steps. Not easy, but very simple. And then lastly, performance. Performance is simply the measure of those actions. How do you quantify it? How do you put it into parameters where I know I start at this line and then I do a 100-meter dash? Because most of us know how to fucking run. Every single man on this call knows how to run. Not all of us know where to start. We're already fucking running. And only 1% of us know where the fucking finish line is. That's the thing that we're not understanding. And Axel, we're gonna get into some Q&A. Just give me a second. I'm gonna finish this up, and then we're gonna get to that, brother. But what I want you guys to think about that is that most of us, 99% of us are already fucking running. 90% of us are running. Think about that. Because we're hustling and bustling every single day. And as a man, we're putting more pressure on our shoulders because it's like, I have to be successful, so my business has to be running. I have to have a family, and I got to be working on my personal, so I got that. When the fuck do I have time for myself? Kobe, when the fuck was the last time you went out and was just like, yo, I'm just going to take a night off. I'm just going to go chill by myself. I'm going to go get a fucking pedicure. I'm going to go relax. Like, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. And that is, again, the problem, because we're trying to spread our time to making two sides of our life so perfect, because they're the two most important things. It's all we live for, gentlemen. All a real man wants is real success, which is defined, yes, by money. In this world that we live in, yes, money. We need to fucking make money. Otherwise, we do not feel purposeful. We feel fucking horrible. End of story. And we want to create a family. We want to create life. We want a woman to go home to. We want that energy to be loved. That's all we want. We don't really even want to focus on ourselves, but because we don't focus on ourselves, these two don't actually work the way that we want to. And then we get frustrated with ourselves because we lack the performance. We lack the mental skill set to be able to overcome that and to know how to disassociate, how to pull myself out of my body, to be able to use exercises, pull myself back in, and then execute what I need to. Let's break it down. Thoughts. When we look at thoughts being the first one, right? Mental game, thoughts. Thoughts must, if you're writing notes, number one, thoughts must have intention. The thought must have an intention. Most of us don't ever have intention with the way we think. We think we have over 5,000 thoughts in a day. 5,000 thoughts in a day. Most of those thoughts are pretty fucked up because an average human lies every 3 minutes while they're consciously awake. That probably fucking blew your mind. It's like, what? What do you mean, Jay? I'm not a liar. I don't lie. Yeah, you fucking do. You know how many times you lie to yourself? Every 3 minutes while you're conscious. Yep. And you have 5,000 thoughts in a day. Yep. So when I say thoughts need intention, it's putting the time into the intention, not the thinking. Most of us are thinking till 2 in the fucking morning, sitting in our bed going like, yo, shit, did my belt match my shoes? Fuck, I still got that invoice that I need to pay. Oh yeah, shit, I want that. And I'm in the whole different game that I need to be. There's no intention behind it. If you had intention, you'd understand it's 2 in the fucking morning right now. Why am I giving myself stress right now? Why am I creating stress right now 2 in the morning for myself? I need to clock it off. Fuck it, put on Netflix. Sometimes I like putting on something to sleep. I like the TV playing. I'll put something on in the background. You don't just listen to me like, oh, Netflix is for fucking losers. Only Netflix and chill is for fucking people that don't want to be successful. Hell no. I tell my mind to break. If I'm working 16-hour days, at the end of my day, I'm going to say, you know what? Here's 2 hours that I'm going to take off so I can have dinner with my wife. I can cuddle her and I can put something on and I can watch a movie with her. I'm not going to think that I'm a loser now because I put in a 16-hour day and now I'm Netflixing and chilling. Thoughts need intention and you need a give up list. I want you guys this week to really create a give up list. A list of things that you're willing to give up. Give up even thought patterns. Give up shit that is not serving you. Just create a list. I'm not saying you have to do it right away, but just create the list. What is stuff that I need to give up that is not really actually intentional? Most of us, I'll tell you right now, from a task management, for those business owners in the room, here's a massive secret, right? It's doing the T chart, the urgent, important, not important, urgent, and not important, not urgent, right? When you do that quadrant, you take all your tasks, you put it in there, right? You go from 25 tasks to 4, maybe 5. See, what we don't do is we look at 25 lists and we're like, yo, there's so much to do. There's so much to do. And most of the time you just fucking look at the list and you're like, shit, what do I do first? What do I do first? I'll do a little piece of this and I'll do a little piece of this and I'll feel a little purposeful. Shit, I'm still not getting anywhere. Instead of just understanding that Pareto's principle is 80% of your outcome comes from 20% of your effort. 80% of your outcome comes from 20% of your effort. So at the end of the day, it's being strategic. It's getting intentional with your thinking. So I want you to, in practice this week, practice intentional thinking. I'm having a thought. What am I thinking about? What's the intention behind it? What is the purpose? Okay, bring it back down. Write it down. I always carry a notebook for a reason. Write it down. Just think it. That's okay. Thinking with intention is going to be the first step for you to gain the mental performance that you need. The second step now is choosing logic versus emotion. Choosing logic versus emotion. Now you're probably like, Jay, of course. If it was that easy, wouldn't anybody do it? Wouldn't everybody do it? It was as easy as just choosing logic versus emotion. Well, the problem with us men is that we actually don't choose emotion. We choose logic because we fucking sheep with the wolf with the sheep's clothing. That's the problem here. Because us men, what we do is we suppress our emotions. Keep suppressing. And then all of a sudden, pop. And it pops. And you get drunk one day and you say too much, or you're not drunk at all and you say too much. Maybe you throw something. Maybe you get a little angry. Maybe you raise your fucking voice because we're men and it happens instinctively. And all of a sudden there's a relationship problem. All of a sudden you did something that now you need to apologize for. So it's not that we don't think emotional, but we're very, very quick to disguise the emotion as logic. So I encourage you to think about that. Think about the logical step in that and give yourself permission. Give yourself permission to feel the emotion. I always talk about the 7 common emotions that humans feel, right? 6 of them are negative. 1 is positive. 1 is positive, gentlemen. Joy is the only positive emotion we have. With the 6 others, fear, sadness, anger, contempt, surprise, and fear. When we have these 6, you have to start to understand that these 6 are against us every single day. So if we don't have that ability to give ourselves permission when we feel these emotions, especially the ones like sadness, especially the ones like fear, because our fucking egos are so big as men that we're like, no, I don't fear nothing. I'm not sad. I don't cry. That's not how I grew up. That's not how my dad would slap me across the face if I cried. Like that kind of mindset doesn't work because it's not the way to train your brain. It's the way to end up where women empowerment came and said these men are stupid, and now look where the fuck we are. Look where the fuck we are. Now we got the whole trans thing, man. There's a whole different swing because men couldn't step up to the fucking plate. We lost it. We lost our fucking podium. But that doesn't mean it's lost forever. That means we are regaining it. Even with the leadership that's stepping in now, even this election, I'll tell you right now, it just proves that men are on the prowl and leadership is needed, gentlemen. So give yourself permission to feel those emotions. And I always say, time it. Give yourself a timer. When I fucking feel angry, I'm like, yo, when I get into a situation with my girl now, we have this flag system, right? I say white flag, right? One of them, whoever calls the white flag says white flag, the other person automatically has to leave the room, 10-minute break. Why? We're not going to say stupid shit that we don't mean. Why are we going to waste our time doing that? Oh, white flag. Okay, perfect. Done. 10 minutes. I go calm down. I come back. Boom. Okay, now I'm good now. I let my anger go. I gave myself a timer. I released my shit. Came back. Now it's like, hey, we weren't even mad about anything. This is stupid. Like we have such a bigger picture here. Boom. So give yourself a timer, gentlemen. Give yourself permission to feel those emotions. And thirdly is I don't want means I have to. Write that down. I don't want means I have to. This is going to be the true test this week for you guys. This is a fucking hard test. This is hard even for me. I'll tell you this now, in so many different levels. What I mean by that is when I think to myself, I don't want to do that. 4 a.m, I don't want to get up. Fucking gym, I don't want to get fucking meds. I don't want to do that. Just 10 push-ups for no fucking reason. Why did I say it to myself? I shouldn't have said it. Right now, I'm gonna fucking do it right now. See that shit? You got to play this game with yourself. You have to be able to make sure that even when you don't, you have to. Even when you don't, you have to. Give yourself a test. You're not going to hit 100%. And if you can, fucking amazing. But again, you have 5,000 thoughts in a day. So just start to measure it. Start to measure it. Whenever you start thinking that I don't want to, I shouldn't have said it. I shouldn't have said it. Now that I said it, what's going to happen is you're slowly going to get your mind on autopilot. It's not going to happen right away, but it's the repetition and routine. It's the basal ganglia, the part of the brain that creates that repetition and routine. It's going to slowly get trained because you're forcing yourself to actually, that thought pattern, the dendrite, the neural connections are starting to build stronger. That's why a quick little memory trick, the dendrites, is combining multiple dendrites within your thought patterns when you want to memorize people's names or memorize certain number sequences. It's all about being able to create the dendrite. So if I meet somebody named Gary, and Gary has a big nose, and the nose also, he had a Ford shirt on. I'm thinking Gary with the big nose that drives the Ford truck. You see what I did? I chained my dendrites out, so now I can actually remember Gary. So the next time I see him, I'm like, oh, Gary, big nose, truck guy, Ford. Oh, perfect. It was Gary that drives the truck. You see, I'm creating a dendrite, creating my memory as a stronger memory so that my brain puts it into long-term versus short-term and discards it. But anyways, I digress on that. Go into brain topics all day. Back to this. The hardest part is I don't want to means I have to. So that's the test that I want to give you guys today, really for this week. And start small. That's my biggest recommendation is start small. Don't put pressure on yourselves. The worst thing you can do is set pressure for yourself to get something done. You don't get it done and you feel defeated. Right? Like that's the worst thing you can do. Don't overhit it, right? Don't fucking 10x your goals, 10x. Like 10x sometimes fucking is so self-defeating sometimes, right? You got to be realistic. Think 10x, but have, again, an action plan to get to 10x, right? Still 2 times, 5 times, and then we get to 10 times, right? So the game that you want to play this week is really being able to gamify your life, right? When I tell you guys, brush your teeth with the opposite hand, when I say do a cold shower, cold shower, I gave one of my guys a recommendation, like cold shower doesn't mean like I have to do the whole shower cold. It's like you have to stand in the shower physically and turn it to hot, but it's going to turn from cold to hot. And slowly you just start to lever. Each day you do it just a little bit less. And before known, you're going to be able to slam it out. But what I want to bring up now is the final piece before we get into some Q&A, because I want to hear from you guys as well too, is time management is what the topic was. So I wanted to bring it back after some mental peak performance tactics and facets. I trust that landed well with you guys, so that you guys have some tactful ways to tackle this week, really be able to enhance that mental peak performance. But I want to give you that benefit that I told you about when it comes to time management, a secret, right? It's as simple. It's simple as measuring it. Guys, don't overcomplicate it, right? Just get a calendar on your phone and literally measure it. Like, measure every single thing. When I pull this up, I always do this with you guys, and I want to make sure that it's known. Let me turn off my Teams calendars. Like, this is my day, right? This is my day from 4 a.m, right? This was yesterday, right? Like, everything is blocked out. Meetings are blocked out. My sleep zones are blocked out. Like, I don't have white space, but it's not that that doesn't mean that I don't take time for myself. Remember, 1/3 of your life is working, 1/3 of your life is sleeping. It's the 1/3 you don't know about yet. Think about that. On average, 30 years of your life is going to be sleeping in a bed. 30 fucking years. 1/3 of your life is sleeping. And the other we know is working. It's the 8 hours we don't know what we do with. Oh, I wasted an hour here, I wasted an hour there. Oh, I went there. If you calculate that correctly, you don't even have to work 16-hour days. So all these entrepreneurs are telling you like, oh, 16 hours, you got to put, it's not hard work, it's smart work. It's being calculated with your time and being efficient. I'm trying this new thing where I'm doing kind of 4 hours on, 2 hours off, 4 hours on, 2 hours off. I'm experimenting. I tried 666. I tried, 4 hours of sleep and then recovering all on Sundays. I'm playing games to find the best version of myself. Try different sleep patterns, try different eating things, be your own doctor. Like, go in and prescribe your own things. I'm gonna try this today. I'm gonna try this week and see how my body feels. My dad always does that. He does it with different shakes and proteins and little all herbal things that he puts in. He's like, oh, this helped me. This helped my back. I'm like, it probably wasn't the random smoothie that you drank, but guess what? Your mind told itself that it helped, and all of a sudden your back is helping. Guess what? Use that effect. Use that placebo effect. So simply measure it, gentlemen. Measure your time, but here's a couple more for you. Make changes. Make changes and customize it. You're not going to fucking hit it every single day. Like, you are not. Like, you're going to put your alarm clock. If you wake up 8 o'clock every single day and you're like, I want to wake up at 6 o'clock, you're going to do that tomorrow. Guess what? You're not going to hit it. That's okay. Change it. Put it to 6:30. Put it to 7. There's no right and wrong answer. You don't need to listen to Jay and be like, I got to wake up at 4 a.m. because Jay wakes up at 4 a.m. I like 4 a.m. because it works for me. Find your own time and play around with it. Measure it. Where can I get those? Where can I carve 1 to 2 hours by myself? Where can I get into mental clarity? I don't care if you're doing yoga. I don't care if you're doing prayers. I don't care if you're doing freaking any of this, hypnosis. However the fuck you want to label it. It's irrelevant. What matters is it's time by yourself to just think, to give yourself intention to those thoughts. What are my intentions for the day? What are my intentions for my life? What are my intentions for myself, my well-being? Getting clear with that. I like that in the morning. Some people like that at night. Some people like that midday. And the last recommendation I'm really going to give you is, in your calendar, I want you to fail your calendar 10,000 times and come talk to me. If you are not the master of fucking time management after that, I will tell you right now, fail your calendar 10,000 times, come talk to me, and we'll talk. We'll be talking about you. You'll be teaching this seminar. That's what I can tell you. Go and fail. Fail forward. Go fail. It's okay. Don't feel discouraged by the failure of you focusing on being a better time manager. That's it. Just do it. That's it. Every single day. It's crazy. It's crazy how many people that I meet, so many entrepreneurs that I meet, it's like they're not concerned about their calendar. They're like, I got sales calls and I got this and I got to do this and I'm so busy and I run this and I run that. And I'm like, yo, show me your calendar. Like, it's all in my head. It's like, it's organized chaos. My assistant deals with it. Like, I hear all these excuses. And I'm like, man, if you can't wake up and do your own calendar, like, you can't be measuring your 24 hours, your 1,440 minutes and your 86,400 seconds in a day. Like, it don't make sense. I did this poll actually. JC, remember this one? Today. Let me see if I can just pull it up on my phone. You guys are going to see it on my Instagram. But it was cool to actually see the difference in response. And I'll do this before I open up some Q&A for you guys. But it was, what are you choosing? Like, if I put that on the screen, you guys can see that, right? 900,000 every day 900 billion right now, 90,000 every 5 minutes, and 9,000 every second. Like, which one did you choose? I'm curious. Put in the chat. Like, crazy. When we break this down, $9,000 every second is equivalent to 278 million in 1 year. Okay. 90,000 every 5 minutes is equivalent to 21 million. 900,000 each day, I think, was like 165 million, something like that, every year. So when you start looking at this, you know, sometimes you're at 900 billion right now. But again, if I gave you if you've got $900 billion right now, what would you do with it? You would say, oh, I'm going to go hire a manager. Oh, I'm going to go hire an accountant. I'm going to go you ain't going to do shit. You would be surprised. You would be surprised how fast that would go. That's why 95% of lottery winners lose. They're worse positions. I wouldn't even accept the 900 billion right now. What am I going to do with it? I don't have enough maturity for that shit yet. Think about that. We ain't no Donald Trump's becoming president right now with the experience of that. Do you know how many failures we would make in between that? And let's go buy a golf course, guys. I think it's going to be profitable. That's what I would say on the Lions. Then next week I'll be like, trust me, I think it'll be profitable to buy a golf course, right? You know, guys. And then all of a sudden it's like, shit, Jay, you lost how much? You lost 25 million on that golf course. Trust me, guys. It's you fail forward, man. You fail forward. That's not a fail forward situation. That's not a fail forward situation you want. Right? You got to learn on the smaller scale. You got to learn from other people's experiences. You got to position yourself correctly so that eventually you go out there and you create your own powerful system. So guys, before I get to some Q&A, one thing I want to say, usually I bring JC in, right? Usually I bring JC in and we talk a little bit about the community, but I'm changing things up, especially what's coming in 2025. We are expecting to have thousands of people on this call in 2025 with the new brand collaborations, with the amount of work that we've been doing this year. This is going to take a different level of this weekly call that we have. So that's why we've been urging you guys to get into the communities, to learn about all the changes and be a part of the VIP because of the streamlined system that's now coming on and the partnerships we've now aligned with some of these big names that I can't physically mention at the moment. But I want us to really understand this, right? We really want to help men master NLP. Neuro-linguistic programming, being able to do this through events, doing this through community, and doing this through coaching is our focus within this platform. So there's no more time about JC coming on and presenting on how you guys get into the community because we are slowly turning that completely off from that system, right? What we are now turning on, though, is the opportunities for the Lions to make sure that you are involved in that community, that you are jumping on these calls because I want to bring you more. I want to bring you live events. I want to bring you massive things in the community where you guys can win not only prizes, vacations, but real time, tangible factors, you know, business opportunities, getting in the circle where, you know, me and John are talking about 130 million, you know, raising $1.3 million just, you know, casually on a call, like being a part of these conversations. So, and then of course the coaching, right? Coaching, unfortunately, right now for the rest of this year is on wait list. I'm not taking on any more private clients for the rest of this year, but opening up 2025, I will be taking a select few private clients to really be able, because I love doing that. That's where I do my most effective work. You know, Caesar, you know this from working with me in person and seeing me live and everything that you and I are now starting to collaborate on when it comes to the marketing and the branding. But I want you guys to understand, we're going to put a link in the chat now, and it's simply for y'all to make a decision on your own end. You get value showing up. You want to know what the next step is. We're going to he's going to put a link in so you can book your own call with us. You can get in contact with us. We can see what level you're at. We can figure out exactly where you want to be and how we can help. I don't want to make this a sales pitch. I don't need to make this a sales pitch anymore because that's not the intention. So I wanted to make that very clear because I want you guys to know is like, I have everything and everyone will fit within our ecosystem of what we built over the last 3 years at Next Gen, because we have free offer, we have 100,000 offer. And now with John and I working together and really bringing in the Next Gen property side of things, we have $1 million+ offer for our raising capital. So if you don't have a free offer and you don't have 100,000 offer and you don't have $1 million offer, that is what's going to help you get into the sector of taking on these trillions of dollars that are happening, the massive amount of wealth transfer. So I'm doing the call to action today by simply saying, get in contact, if you want to be in touch, the rest will follow. You got that energy, man. You fucking lion energy. This is what we do here. So I love that it's resonating well with you, because this is exactly what we do, guys. Every single week we show up here, 8 p.m., Lions Den. We get excited for this call because it's us brothers coming together so we can have the blessings, we can have the breakthroughs. So I just want to say thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate you for showing up yet again this week. For those that are going to watch in the recording, you definitely missed a good live one, but thank you for watching. And I will see you guys next week, 8 p.m. EST on the Lions Den. God bless. Take care.